I don't even know where to begin with what I'm going to say. My mind right now is just blown right now because of some information that I had just taken in, and information I had known. Quantum grammar. And some information I had suspected could be correct in regarding with dealing with our government, specifically the courts, because now in this country, and it has been for a very long time, our courts have been, we have a judicial system that operates in the powers and capacities of all three branches of government. That's something that I had come to grips with or woken up to during our CPS circumstance. And so anyway, I'll be in, dude. Hold on. Stop banging on the window. Stop. So anyway, I'm just blown. My mind is just blown right now because the information that I just watched last night and this morning, well, I watched half of it last night, and then the other half I watched the rest this morning. And when our son was taken by CPS, we kind of knew that him being taken and him being in their custody and us going through the transaction that we went through and him being returned to us had everything to do with how they arranged the wording, the grammar, the syntax. We kind of suspected that, everything that was culminating in that situation had everything to do with grammar and with the way the words are not just arranged, but the way that the courts are ran under not common law, but admiralty law. And I had to come to the realization that our courts are not filled with judges. Our courts are frauds. Our courts are just operating in procedures of administrative law, contract law. And I had to understand that the judges are just brokers. They're just bankers. Maybe our lawyer was, by dragging his feet, our lawyer may have been complicit in violating our civil rights as well. So, the things you learn every day. What makes me mad about this whole thing is that my family and I were forced into a transaction that we did not want to take part in. And our lawyer kept telling us to cooperate over and over again, and we said no. And he was telling us that we didn't have to file motions of dismissal, we didn't have to file motion writ of habeas corpus. He just kept telling us to cooperate, and it just really made me doubt his ability to do the moral thing. And then I just found out what their function really is to the courts. They're just independent contractors, middlemen for the courts. And that made me want to do my own investigating of Child Protective Services and the courts. And because I found out our lawyer was on their side and not our side, I couldn't even tell my lawyer what I was doing. I played their little game for a little while, and then after I got the documentation I needed, I wanted to show through each step of their administrative process of how they force innocent, hardworking citizens in order to do business with them against their will by using their children. as currency to be enslaved to their beast system. So I was just like, wow. But I'm going to do some more digging and researching on quantum grammar, because that is just fascinating to me. And I was just like, I just have to understand how deep this goes, and I'm already sick to my stomach, and I'm thinking, should I do it? Should I continue with researching this subject? Because that will make irreversible changes in my life and cause people to separate from me permanently because of some things that I could find out by learning about this grammar. But I'm willing to do it because I want to know the truth. I want to know who I am. I want to know why is all this happening? Why are we obligated to comply to being their fodder? I'm just the kind of person that I just like to find things out. I like to find things out so I can have on my conscience knowing that I'm living my best life as free, as a free human being, and living my life as part of free humanity than being under coercion to living as an indentured servant for the rest of my life, because that's not what I was taught in school. And I know what we were taught in school was fraudulent and skewed, and I know that. I'm speaking about the principles of freedom, which the principles, had a bug on my eye, which the principles of freedom is born into every man, made in the image of God, and have the spark of God inside of us. That's something that nobody can teach you. That's something that nobody can take away from you. And that's the kind of life I want to live, is, free from debt, free from servitude, and just for my children to live the same kind of life, and for others to live that same life. Yeah, I'm going to dig into that because, like I told my husband, we were onto something when we were dealing with CPS. It was like, I told my husband, it's kind of like they gave our son back to us because they wanted to lull us back to sleep, because, we were like picking apart a lot of what the grammar and language they were using. And they knew that me and my husband were not going to give up. We were not going to give up. We were going to continue to fight. And we're going to try to use every lever, every mechanism, in order to do that. Because we knew that what they were doing was wrong, and that they were trampling on our civil rights and on our rights as sovereign human beings to live as we see fit, without doing harm to each other. And so anyway, I'm going to end this video because my mind is just blown, and I can't get my thoughts together right now, because the stuff that I just watched and I just saw, I was just like, what is going on now? What? Wow. Even though the information is out there, this information is not for everybody. Because if everybody finds out this information, and everybody finds out that innocent families have been torn asunder, all for filthy lucre, then these people won't stand a chance. These people will not be able to walk the streets safely. That there are certain people who are strong enough to be able to handle this kind of information, who are diligent and consistent in digging for the information and getting a clear, cognizant understanding of what's happening. But I do think that if a lot of people find out what's going on, that I do believe that their hearts will give out, because this is not information that's for the light of heart. This is not information for people who want to be comfortable. I'm not saying that people don't go find it, but if you do, just know that you are going to go through some rabbit holes and you are going to look crazy. And if you're the kind of person that don't want to look crazy to your family and friends and to, social media, then this fight is not for you. Stay out of the way and let those of us who are strong enough to take the ridicule, to do it, to help you out if you can't help yourself. You guys enjoy your day. I'm going to enjoy mine. Keep your head up. Keep looking up. Peace.